The movie starts off with a montage of fights and stunts from Chan's older movies, including The Tuxedo and Operation Condor, and then cuts to Bob Ho waking up. The next shot features his next-door neighbors waking up, with Jillian and her 3 children, Nora, youngest one, and very girlish Ian geeky, and intelligent and Farron stereotypical teenager, and the oldest all experiencing a normal morning. The family has 3 pets, which consists of a pig, turtle, and a cat. Bob Ho, who allegedly works as a pen importer, sees Jillian walking outside with her children to drop off the 2 older children at school and offers to assist her drag the garbage can to the pavement. Due to their opinion that he is nerdy and boring, the 3 children are shown to be against the 2's romantic relationship. Even though Bob tries to tell Jillian that he works for the CIA while they are out celebrating their 3-month anniversary later that evening, his phone rings with a message telling him that he needs to go immediately away. Bob and Colton James sneak into an American oil refinery, and Bob catches the villains, who were trying to put a liquid into the oil supply. After returning to his workstation, he informs he is retiring from being a CIA agent to finally settle down and live with his soon-to-be family. Bob begins removing his spy gear, but Glaze tells him to keep his watch. Later, through the phone, Colton informs Bob that he sent files found in the Russian base to his computer. The next day, Jillian comes to see Bob with the kids and tells him that she'll be gone for a few days, and wants Bob to watch the kids while she's gone because her father needs his hip replaced due to an injury. Even if the kids do all in their power to escape, Bob thinks this is a fantastic opportunity to win the youngsters over. The kids poke around the house while Bob packs his things to head to Jillian's residence. Ian rushes over to Bob's Macintosh and finds a file that he thinks is a copy of a concert. He downloads it using his iPod, but it turns out to be the files that Colton had earlier supplied, a recipe for turning oil into dust. Meanwhile, Poldark, the villain caught by Bob, escapes jail and returns to his minions. Poldark discovers his files have been taken, and he tracks down the location to Bob's residence. Poldark and his minions set out to recover the files downloaded into Ian's iPod and to kill them all. While at a restaurant, Bob and the children are attacked by Larry, a Russian spy, who attacks them with a knife after having lied about going to university and being a poet. Bob fights him off and explains to the children about his true self and that he's a former CIA agent. Glaze reappears after leaving the restaurant and demands the data while brandishing a gun. Bob knocks him unconscious before escaping in the car with the kids. In it, Bob learns that the bad guys must have located him using the watch Glaze had earlier advised him to keep, and he places it behind a rock in a desert. They take refuge in a motel, where Farron tries to explain to Jillian who Bob truly is and all the danger they have faced. She is instructed by Bob to pick up the children immediately. The following morning, when all 4 of them return home, Jillian scolds Bob and declares that their romance is ended. As he has unfinished business to take care of, Bob walks off being watched by Ian. Ian dresses up in a spy gear and runs out of the house on his bicycle, preparing to assist Bob. Farron watches him go. Bob retrieves the watch and allows the villains to trace him to where he is, in an empty factory-like area. Ian shows up, and due to him, the villains catch Bob and tie him up in a chair with Ian. The villains then remove the cameras placed around the place, and Farron shows up tied up by Larry. Bob learns after questioning Ian that Ian was the one who downloaded the contents into his iPod at home. While Bob releases the 3 with his spy ring and razor blade, the majority of the Russians board their vehicles to take the iPod. While Bob uses Ian's bicycle to battle Larry, Glaze, and Poldark, the children flee for safety. After losing, the 2 children and Bob rush to get in the car, drive away, and head back home as quickly as they can. They find out it's Halloween when they get there. The 3 run home as the enemies run into the house from the windows and doors. Bob calls the CIA for help while he fights off all the villains, with help from the children. The CIA and Colton arrive right after everyone is defeated already, and Ian gives his iPod with the files to Colton. After they all leave, Bob prepares to go home, but after the children grow very upset, Jillian decides to stay with Bob. The 2 are later shown being married, and Bob tells Jillian during the wedding that he has another secret to inform her. His real name is not Bob.